So thank you guys for coming. You should be here for Introduction to Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS. Jin Shah and I really appreciate you showing up. And yeah, so if you've ever seen me do a session before, and Jin Shah's always very nice to accommodate, my little intro. I always tell jokes before I do a tech session. Has anyone seen me do a tech session earlier this week? A few of you. Okay, so I'm nervous, obviously. She's a professional, and you guys are here, and so I want to make sure we break the ice. I get the sense everyone's tired or just a little bit sleepy, so I want to make sure we're all awake, right? We're all in a good mood before you do the session eval, right? Yeah. So I always start off with a couple of jokes as we wait for a few more minutes for the other people to show up. So thank you again for coming. Okay, so for this section, I have a couple of what I found to be amusing images or signs. Has nothing to do with GIS, I just find them funny, mildly amusing, hence why I want to share them with you. And typically all the images have a story, right? So how many of you commute to work every day? Like car, right? Oh, many of you, yeah. So I do too. And I'm sure, like me, when you commute to work, it's rush hour, it can be very frustrating when, it's bumper-to-bumper traffic, right? So usually on good days when I carpool and I have someone in the seat next to me, I always ask the person next to me, hey, can you stick your head out the window and look and see if you can see a sign down the road? Sometimes they'll say the left lane is closed or the right lane is closed, so you know when to merge. Does that make sense? Everyone with me? So let's say you're commuting and you're on your way to work and you're running late, and then you see this sign. It would be annoying. Yes, it would be annoying. This next one, right, may seem like it's pretty useless. This is a real sign. Yes, thanks you for telling me nothing. But if you really pay close attention to the bottom part of the sign, there is some critical information, right? Critical information. Don't want to miss that. For this next one, when I was young, my parents, especially my dad, would love to just do road trips, drive everywhere on vacation. We would never fly. And he was one of those people who, I can do like 10 hours in one day. And we'd have to, hold our, we couldn't pee for like many hours. We'd drive like 10 hours. So let's say you're driving on a road trip with your family or your friends. It's been a long 8-9 hours and you're tired and you're thinking of finding a place to stay. Right? So you obviously want to pull over on the side of the road and find a hotel or a motel or something like that. So let's imagine you've had a long day driving, and then you decide you want to stop for the evening. If you saw this sign, you would think, perfect, I'm going to pull over and, rent my accommodations for the evening. However, if you saw this, you may continue to drive a little bit further, right? You should know I am a big science fiction fan, and one of my favorite TV channels is this TV channel called Sci-Fi, right? My wife laughs at me because they play really cheesy movies like giant ants or giant killer bees attacking a city, or Sharknado, which by the way has like 4 sequels. These crazy sharks that are in a tornado and then they attack people, right? So you see this sign here, you're driving along, and you can see on the left there's a nuclear power plant. Now, if it was me, I would probably turn right, because I see this, and then I'm like, well, I don't know, okay? I don't know what to think. This next one, I really don't have a story for. I have no idea what it means. I guess like a fork in your back or something like that, I'm not sure. But yeah, I just put it up there. We're at user conference. I know Jin Shah and myself have been working very, very hard. She's one of the lead product engineers for Web AppBuilder. She puts in countless hours. We had a release like 2 weeks ago before user conference. I know that while we're at user conference, while we love and support you guys and we do sessions, we're at the island, we're following up on questions and bugs. So it's been a long week. And I know I personally here, I've been here since Friday, and when I saw this sign, it gives certainly me inspiration, right? But I like it. It kind of frames how I feel about work. The first 5 days after the weekend are always the hardest. Trying to get through. We're trying to get through till Friday. All right, I have one more, and then we'll get started. Now, fair warning, this next one is rated PG-13. So if you don't like horror movies, if you have a weak constitution, I would ask that you just close your eyes and cover your ears for a few minutes. I want to set expectations, right? I don't want to get in trouble with HR. This is only for entertainment purposes only. Okay? Are we good? We'll keep it in the room, right? So the next sign you're going to see is it's a real sign in Southeast Asia for a park trail. Oh, and I should add that I love my kids. So just want to set expectations. All right. So this is a sign you see as you enter a park trail. What to do if you run into a mountain lion, right? So there's a couple of strategies. Number one, don't show fear. Face the lion and back away slowly. Number two, treat it like a bear. Be large and shout to scare the animal away. Now remember, this is PG-13. I don't want anyone to get upset. I don't want to get in trouble with HR, right? So if you have a weak constitution, don't like horror movies, just look away. Or, here's the last strategy. If you're hiking with little children, throw them at the mountain lion and run away. All right? Okay. We did not see that. Don't want to get in trouble here. All right, so thank you guys very much. Welcome to the Introduction to Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS technical session. My co-presenter, Jinsha Song, is one of the lead product engineers for Web AppBuilder, so we're in good hands. And my name is Derek, and I work on the apps team, and I work with the Web AppBuilder team. So we're here to learn about Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS. So what are we going to cover over the next hour or so? We're going to give you an overview of the product. So how many of you have not used Web AppBuilder? Okay, a few of you. Great. Well, welcome. Hopefully, by the end of this hour, you will be excited to use it because it's a fantastic product, has a lot of functionality and capabilities, and we hope to get you excited about it. For those of you who have used Web AppBuilder, this is an introductory section, so some of the content may be a bit of a review. However, hopefully you'll learn something new as well. And I don't want to brag, but I'm really proud of the team because during the plenary session on Monday, you may or may not be aware of this, Web AppBuilder was actually shown 5 or 6 times, and I tweeted about them every time we saw it. So it's pretty awesome. We're going to give you a tour of its capabilities really briefly, and then we'll discuss what was newly added to Web AppBuilder. So we'll talk about some of the enhancements that were added in the June release, so literally 2 weeks ago. We have some demos, and then we're going to show you Developer Edition, right? Don't let the name intimidate you. Even though we call it Developer Edition, as a non-developer, you can use it too, and you'll see some of its capabilities. And then we'll conclude by talking about the broad user community for Web AppBuilder and some resources that are available to you. And of course, we'll take questions at the end of the session. The team is also available at the expo downstairs at the ArcGIS online area. So let's get started. This is the classic ArcGIS platform slide, right? ArcGIS is this idea of a Web GIS, sharing your GIS content and spatial data everywhere. And we put this slide here as a context, right? At the very top, we have client applications. They could be web apps, desktop apps, or apps on mobile devices. They connect to a portal, so it could be ArcGIS Online, or it could be Portal for ArcGIS, to search and discover and browse your geospatial assets. And this central location of your geospatial assets, this portal, is powered by GIS servers, and it's only really useful if it has data content. Where does Web AppBuilder live in this framework? Well, Web AppBuilder is a client application to content in your portal. So I want to just give you some context there. Now, at Esri, we've been working very hard for the last few years to make it easier for you guys as customers and users to build and deploy apps, right? We've heard the feedback over many, many years. Some organizations who are smaller don't have the ability to have developer resources, or they don't want to outsource the use case of developing custom apps with developers. So we're trying really hard to give you better tools to make it easier for you to deploy your apps. And we're going to focus on web apps in this session here, because we have something else called App Studio for ArcGIS, which allows you to deploy native apps for mobile devices. Right? So we start off with a web map. Right? This is something that you can create inside either ArcGIS Online, Portal for ArcGIS, or ArcGIS Pro. The web map is a starting point where someone who's not a GIS expert, he or she can make this information product. And if you're in ArcGIS Online or Portal for ArcGIS, you can take this web map and then you can quickly and easily build and deploy a new web application around it using one of these configurable application templates. And I'll show you in a little bit. Now, what's great about these templates is there's roughly between 25 and 28 of them. They are focused apps. You would take an empty template, you take your web map, which references your data, and you hydrate that template. You simply put your data in there. And then you can configure it, like changing the color, changing the title, adding a custom logo, etc. And these templates are really useful, really easy to use, as you'll see. However, they're designed to support specific workflows. So you might have a template for editing. You might have a template to show data comparison. You might have a template that shows data changes over time. They're very workflow focused. So a lot of our customers, after we released this functionality, said, we like these templates, but we want more functionality. Can I take function X from template 1 and combine it with function Y from template 2? So after some time, we developed Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS. And as you will see, it's really powerful. We think of it like the Swiss Army knife of app builder development, because you can really repurpose it for a variety of different use cases and workflows. You guys, as the analysts or as the app builder, can choose which functionality to include, how it's going to look and feel, what data to include. Okay, it's got a really elegant, beautiful user experience. And as you can see on the right, we have over 40 plus widgets. We continue to add new functionality with each release. So what is Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS? Well, if you look at the yellow line, it is an application that allows you to build brand new web apps without having to write a single line of code. It's available inside ArcGIS Online, and it's also available in the Portal for ArcGIS component of ArcGIS Enterprise. It gives you that WYSIWYG user experience. What you see is what you get. So as you make changes in the configuration panel, you will see those changes update live real time in the preview panel. It's also one of the rare applications that supports both 2D content, so your web services, and also 3D content, so your scene services as well. Fully integrated with the ArcGIS platform, built on the ArcGIS API for JavaScript. So if you're a developer, you can write custom code to create custom functionality. In other words, your own widgets. Or you could download the source code for that app and make changes as you like. Or you could use Developer Edition and make changes. And we'll talk about some of those options for you later on in this session. Now with Web AppBuilder, you'll notice you have two different options to work with the app. The first option is within ArcGIS Online or Portal for ArcGIS, and we'll demo both, where you can access Web AppBuilder within that home app, right? So what's embedded within the website? Option number 2 is to use Developer Edition. And again, don't let the name intimidate you. You can download Developer Edition, host it on your own machine, and start working with it. The reason why you might use Developer Edition is if you are a developer and you want to make changes, or if you want to apply custom widgets. The key takeaway is that last bullet on this slide. No matter what option you choose, as you will see through our demos, the user experience is the same. The team has done a really good job to make it almost seamless. 99% of the user experience is exactly the same. The only difference is when you first load up Developer Edition, you'll see a different landing page screen. That's it. Now, I've made the case that it's this really awesome product. I'm sure every session you go to, they say that, right? We actually have many hundreds of thousands, quite frankly, of customers using Web AppBuilder. So what you're seeing here is a screen capture of the Alive Sites showcase. I maintain a group where I get permission from customers to reference their site. So if you have an application built on Web AppBuilder that's publicly facing, please come see me so I can add it to the group. I have permissions to reference these apps so I can promote them and show them to you guys, right? Let's take a look. So here's a screen capture of sorry, not a screen capture, but this is a live view of the Live Sites group. You can see here we have almost 100 different apps. They cover a variety of different workflows, from the simple tax parcel viewer to showing infrastructure projects to doing flood prediction, campus viewers. They're also in a variety of different languages: Hebrew, Japanese, French, right? So you can click on any one of these boxes to open up a new app. So for example, I have this New York City flood app, and you can see it loads. And this is an app built by the Water Department for the City of New York. And I can go in here, and it shows you flood prediction for Manhattan and in and around the boroughs. Okay. Another great app is this one. You know, City of Wellington in New Zealand, they have this fantastic app showing rivers. Okay. We have another one from Canada, Canadian federal government, which shows pipelines in Canada and where they are. And then, just for fun, I threw on an app built by the city of Tokyo showing where bikes were stolen. And you can see it's in Japanese. So that wasn't meant to be funny, but yeah, I feel bad. Their bikes were stolen. But you guys get the idea, okay? So lots of different examples. I encourage you to check it out. Now let's take a look at some numbers. I updated this slide yesterday. Currently hosted in ArcGIS Online, there's over 238,752 apps. I'm sure the number increased this morning. I forgot to check this morning. I would love to reference all these apps, but I can't because I have to have your permission first. So again, if you have an app built on Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS, please let us know. I would love to reference it. My point that I want to make is many of our customers are using this. And hopefully, by the end of this hour, you will also be excited to use it. So how do I get started? How do I start to build an app, right? Well, it's a really simple workflow. This is a screen capture of the help doc page that shows you how to create an app. 6 simple steps. I would argue you could even simplify this. 3 easy steps. When you build a web app, you specify the data content, the look and feel, so the appearance, and the functionality. And rather than talk about it, let me show you. Okay, I'm going to show you how easy it is. So right now, what you're seeing here is me logged in to ArcGIS Online. How many of you have used ArcGIS Online? Many of you, right? So this should all be familiar. This is the ArcGIS Online map viewer, and you're looking at a map of tourist sites in the city of Salzburg, Austria. And I've symbolized my attractions, so like museums, libraries, sports venues. And the only other enhancement I made is I configured the pop-up for the museums to show little pictures. Okay, so you can see that. And I highlight this because I want to demonstrate something to you later on. But here you can see these points of attractions. So I could share this web map with other people. So people in my ArcGIS Online organization, with groups, or I could make this web map public so people in the public can view this web map. Or I could also embed this into a web page, by the way. Or I could make a web app. So to do that, I simply click Share. And then I have a choice here. Who do I want to share this with? Do I want to embed it in a website or create a web app? And I'll hit Create a Web App. And right away, I'm given a choice. Do you want to take your web map and your data and use one of the configurable application templates. As I mentioned, there's roughly between 25 and 28 of them. These are workflow-based templates. So I simply take my data, hydrate it into the template. Maybe I want to have a basic viewer, I want to do editing, or I want to show, historical data, whatever the case may be. We have many different workflows. But we're here to learn about Web AppBuilder, which is this other tab. This gives me, I would argue, more control, more capabilities, so I can build the app tailored to my needs, right? So I'll give it a name, Salzburg Points of Interest App 2, just in case. And I'll just copy the summary, and I hit Get Started. Right away, it loads Web AppBuilder in my web browser. And as you can see, the user experience is awesome. I love this. I am not a developer. The team has done a great job, and they always work to improve it based on feedback to make it really easy to use. Let me explain the landscape to you. On the left side panel, we have our 4 configuration panels: theme, map, widget, and attribute, right? The theme and the attribute tabs, the majority of their capabilities controls the look and feel. The map tab controls the data content, and then the widget tab allows you to control the functionality. As I make changes to the panel on the left, I will see those changes in my right side preview. For example, you'll notice in this app, I have a banner on top. Well, I could change the appearance of the app by simply clicking on, let's say, for example, tab theme. Now I have a banner and a side banner. Or I could choose the Dart theme. Now I have this more kind of banner at the bottom of my app. Or I have this Launchpad theme, which gives me this MacBook-like UI. That's what I say at the bottom. I don't have a MacBook. Okay? My personal favorite is this one called Plateau. It's got a nice modern look to it, right? It's very clean. Now, I happen to know that some of the official colors for the city of Salzburg is red and white. So instead of having a gray, I could pick red. So I'll hit Custom. Oops, here we go. And I'll choose red. And you can see right away I get that change. I can preview it. Maybe I may want to add a custom logo, so I'll go to the Attribute tab here. And again, instead of having these 3 boxes, I'll hit Custom, I'll hit Upload, and I'll browse to add that City of Salzburg logo. Hit Open, OK. And you can see right away it's there, right? As I make changes, obviously I can hit Save. Something else I could do is maybe if I deploy this app, it would be nice if I had a hyperlink to, let's say, a tourism web page for the city of Salzburg, right? So I just happen to have this page already loaded. Here we go. Beautiful city in Austria where they film Sound of Music, one of my kids' favorite movies. Click on this. So I'll copy the URL, and I'll simply click Add New Link, and I'll paste the URL in, and I'll say, for more info, click here. Hit OK, and I'll delete this subtitle. Again, I'll save my changes. And you guys get the idea. So it's pretty intuitive. Now, that's the look and feel. I can go to the Map tab, and I'm not going to change the map, but I want to show you how flexible this app is. Now, I could change the default spatial extent for it to load. I could also do a couple of things here. I could modify the web map, so if I want to add or remove a layer. Or I could create a brand new web map, so I can toss out the existing one. Or I can choose an existing web map. So clicking here, I can change the data content for my app. All the web maps that I have access to in my organization or my personal space, I can view. I'll leave the default for now. Now, so far so good. Yes, we get it, Derek. I get to configure it. The real power of this application is the widgets. This is where I, as an app designer, can decide what capabilities I want to have in this application. And this is awesome. Now, just to set the scene for you, every one of these blue boxes on the left represents a widget. Think of it like a Lego block where it contains some unique functionality. I can turn them on or off within my app. So I want you guys to observe the upper left-hand corner of my app preview. Notice we have this red house icon. This is the home button, which when I click on it will bring me back to my original spatial extent. Notice as I hover my cursor over the blue home widget, it highlights on the left there. Can you guys see that? The house goes The white one, right? So it tells me which widget I'm modifying. And if I want to disable it or remove it from the interface, I simply click this I button and it goes away. Or if I want to bring it back, I click the I button again. Now, there's a whole bunch of other widgets available. Like, for example, a very popular widget is zoom to previous, zoom to next. Well, this is the extent navigate widget. I can turn that on or off. Do you guys see that? Okay, so lots of flexibility there. Another one that's very popular is the overview widget. Now, I happen to know where it is. I'm going to turn it on. But it's in the lower right-hand corner. You see that? So again, I can turn it on or off. But with each widget, at least most of them, we have configuration options. If I click this pencil, I can decide, do I want that overview widget to appear in the upper left, upper right, lower right, or lower left? Okay, so we give that flexibility. Very, very cool. Now, you can see I have two widgets in the upper right-hand corner, the legend and the layer list widget. I want to maybe add some more capabilities. Let me click this arrow bar, because this header controller widget represents the bar at the top of my UI. And I can add some more widgets. So I will hit the plus sign. And as you can see, we have a whole library of widgets available to you, from consuming real-time data feeds as stream services, looking at imagery data, print button, sharing my app to social media, doing a search, doing data editing, adding graphics. I'm going to add two simple ones. I will add the base map gallery widget, so I'm going to allow my end user to be able to pick their base map, right? Maybe they want to look at imagery. And I'll add one more. As this is a tourist app, I'll simply click the plus sign again. I'm going to add the query widget. And what I want to do is basically build a query. Something I may want my end user to do is allow he or she to search for a museum, let's say, right? That's something useful. So I'll click New Query. I can pick which layer I want to apply the query on, in this case, the museum layer. I could also reference data from ArcGIS Online or a web service if I want to. Hit OK. And now I'm going to apply a filter. So I'll hit Museums, hit Filter. I'll click on the query the configuration button to write my query, add an expression. And I want to allow my end user to search for the museum name. So I'll put name, unique value, and I'll ask for values. And I'll simply put the prompt as select museum. Hit OK. Notice I can apply spatial filters. So I only want this query to apply to my current view extent or the entire map. I'll just leave it at its default for now. Hit OK. And here we go. I'll hit Save. And now watch. I could launch this app, or I could actually real-time preview it. Like, for example, I could change my base map, right? So here's that base map widget I added. Maybe I'll show imagery. And then, of course, I could apply my query. So I'll hit this query button, select the museum, and I believe this was Mozart's home. Apply. And there we go. I got my search. And if I click on it, notice that we honor the customization of the pop-up that I configured in my web map. This is pretty cool, right? So any changes that I make in my web map, they are honored and respected with Web AppBuilder. And here we go. Is this the right one? Yes, this is Mozart's house. I don't read German, so it was a lucky guess. But this is cool. And everyone's stone-faced. Okay, it's a tough crowd. This is cool. This is cool. I am not a developer, and it makes me look good. It will make you look good with your management as well. Okay. All right. So, lots of capabilities. I personally feel the widgets is really the power of ArcGIS, of Web AppBuilder, I'm sorry. 40-plus widgets. The first release 3 years ago, I think, had 20. So the team works very hard to enable new functionality. They are very responsive to feedback, right? So come down and see us at the expo and give us your requirements. Now, we have this mass collection of widgets, as I mentioned, but just to be clear, we can kind of group them into two high-level groups. The first are the core foundation widgets. We feel these are the ones that allow you minimally to build an effective GIS app. It doesn't have to be a GIS app, but these are the ones that you might use. Editing, printing, supporting geoprocessing services. So if you have a model you've built in ArcGIS Desktop and you publish it as a GP service, we can run it in Web App Builder, right? Legend, layer list, etc. Now we have a bunch of additional widgets that actually were not built by the core dev team. These were built by Esri professional services or the solutions teams. So they've deployed Web App Builder to solve a real-world problem, and they found that functionality so useful that we've brought it back into core. So we've enabled you to do like parcel editing, doing more advanced editing with the batch attribute editor or the smart editor widget, etc. Okay? So lots of capabilities available to you. Now, I mentioned that Web App Builder is one of the unique apps that supports 2D content as well as 3D content. So just as you saw with my quick demo, we have a very similar user experience to build a 3D enabled app. And we have a select set of 3D widgets. Now, the team has worked really hard. They're adding more as we have more 3D capabilities with the ArcGIS API for JavaScript. Let's take a look at a demo.
Thanks, Derek. So as Derek demo for the 2D, you're authoring the map from Map Viewer. For 3D app, we're authoring the scene from Scene Viewer. Here is the Scene Viewer. So if you go to ArcGIS Online, you will see, so Scene Viewer, you can go to the top here, click Scene, that's the Scene Viewer. In the Scene Viewer, you can create global scene or local scene. Here in my app, scene is the New York, building heights is local scene. It's the buildings and trees. It's the real world representation. So I have this 3D, we call it 3D objects as a term, but just buildings and the trees. As Jack mentioned in the plenary, 3D now support smart mapping. What that really means I go to the buildings, configure layers, okay, 3D always take a little bit time. So I use the height of the building as attributes to do the smart mapping. The color, right now it's green, we can choose red. And adjust a little bit, which one's nicer, I think? Red against green. Okay, no, not very good taste. But you can also enable pop-ups and legend. This by default is enabled. If you don't like it, you can turn it off. I think we all love pop-ups. So it's done, right? Another thing you may notice, I have a field here we call slides. In 2D world, it's bookmarks, right? So we can create slides here. Click here. So I captured those before. It's all green. So it's now really compile with my new apps. It's okay. I captured this one. Then moving around. Another one. A tilt a bit. So it's fun to play around with 3D, actually. Done. Now I say I want to save. My highest title is second one because this second session's save. You may notice if I clicked buildings here, they will have simple pop-ups. Now, as the 2D map viewer, we go to share dialog. For scene viewer, we go to the same place. Share dialog. Create web app. Templates or Web App Builder, you can choose either one. Now we are in the 3D Web AppBuilder builder mode. This is the scene, right? So I don't like that color. I can change to different color. It is going to be, yeah, it's not bad. So we have different kind of scene, right? By default, football scene is the most popular one because it's default one. You can use the billboard scene or dark scene. Now go to the scene. You can choose whatever the scene you want, but we already defined this one. But you also have options to change it. Your own My Content or your organization shared scene, the groups, public, so you have a lot of choices. But we stick with this one. The widgets, we don't have a lot of widgets compared to 2D. So we have environment, slides, base map, about. So I basically put all of them in. 3D FX widget is very special. I will demo it very quickly, but I think if you want to know it, you can go to Create 3D Web App Demo Theater tomorrow at 11:30. We will talk more about 3D things. So I add those widgets in. What does it really mean, this environment? Let me just show you. I want to go to one slide here, a little bit better here view. Cool. So what I really mean is the shadow by the time, the day of time. Dark at night, right? This environmental settings. The base map. So we can change to different base map. Also very common legend, this 3D smart mapping legend, or layer list, we all know that. Turn on or off choose. So this is very simple. Save it, then launch. That's your 3D app. Looks fancy. Without too much work, right? Just configure the widgets, done. But most important thing is in your mind, how can I get this kind of data? Yeah, that's the challenging part for the data. We all know that. This is a real-world representation. For 3D app, we have another type of app they call animation. Let me show you here. This basically shows last year, 2016, attendees from all over the world to San Diego for the UC. So if you go here, everyone from all over the world to the San Diego. If I go, you can animation. This kind of line is actually line feature services, 2D feature services add on the top of scene. So you can author in the scene viewer, add your 2D feature services on the top, then you can get something like this very quickly. Come to my demo theater session tomorrow. You will get details. We are not just have this line animation. We also have other point, polygon, extrusion, different kind of animation style. So, cool. Thank you. Is that cool?
I think your 3D demo got them all jazzed, which is great. All right, awesome. By the way, you'll notice that the user experience for 3D and building that 3D app was very similar to the 2D one, right? So it's awesome. Like it's seamless. Something else we want to highlight is the fact that Web App Builder is built on the ArcGIS API for JavaScript, which means you can build an app that runs in any browser, which means your app can work on any device, in theory, right? And this is pretty cool. The team also has enabled a preview dialog for you to observe and check out how your app will look on various devices. Let's take a look. I'm still in Web App Builder in ArcGIS Online. You guys saw me build this app. You may or may not be aware of this. In the bottom part of my configuration panel dialog, I have this previews button. So I can click on here, and notice now I can have a quick look at how my app will appear on various mobile devices. This is pretty awesome. I can actually show my legend, show my base map switcher, show my query widget. You guys get the idea. And I can adjust it too, right? So let's say I have a Google Nexus 10, or I have an iPhone 7 Plus, right? And I can see how that looks. This is cool, and you can show this to your management, right? It's a tough crowd, Jinsha. See, they like 3D, man. I don't know. That's something to get excited about. All right? So we all have a clear understanding of what Web App Builder is. Let's look at what the team has done recently for the ArcGIS Online update, which literally was done 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago?
June 27th.
June 27th.
As a release date.
It feels longer because we've been here for UC.
So we usually release at 9 p.m. Pacific time. So we do all the whole team doing the testing until 12 o'clock a.m. Yeah, that's the process.
So the team has added 8 new widgets. And we're going to give you a quick tour via slides on some of the widgets. One of them we really want to show, which is very exciting. Obviously, if you look at widget number 2, the full screen widget doesn't really need an explanation, right? It just makes the whole thing go full screen. So we're not going to show that. Widget number 8, the base map 3D gallery widget, Jinsha already showed you in the previous demo. But let's take a look at the other widgets. First one is coordinate conversion, right? This widget allows you to click on a point on your map, and you get some units of measure in various coordinate systems. Lots of use for defense.
Yeah.
This coordinate conversion to get excited about. Okay, yes. I mean, I don't know. All right. Another one is the grid overlay widget. Again, this is commonly used for defense, where we have this military grid reference system. You click it, and it displays this grid, and as you zoom in and out, the grid will rescale. Okay? All right. Then we have this infographic widget. This one is awesome, and Jinsha is going to show you later on. Think of it like an enhanced charting widget on steroids, which will allow you to have multiple visualizations of your spatial data as bar graphs, as gauges, and you'll see that in a little bit. So it's pretty cool. We also have, for those of you who do parcel editing, the Parcel Drafter widget. This was a widget built by a solutions team. So if you have to enter data in meets and bounds, this is the widget for you. We have another one called the screening widget, and this is pretty cool. What you can do is you can define an area of interest. Pick a point, draw a line, or pick an area. And then you can use that area of interest to select features on different layers, right? Kind of like an intersect. Then, from that selection set, you can generate a report. A classic use case is, what if there was a flood? I generate a polygon, I do a selection set on features in other data layers, and then I can find out in a report which items of interest were affected by that flood. Does that make sense? Yeah, another widget developed by our solutions team. And finally, we have the Suitability Modeler widget, right? This is capability that was originally enabled in the GeoPlanner app. This widget allows you to do weighted overlay. And you saw a demo similar to this on Monday when Lauren presented in the plenary. I might have a data layer of elevation, another data layer of precipitation, another one of slope. And I can assign weights to those different layers, 33%, 33%, 33%. Then I throw those layers into some kind of analysis, and I get a result. Does that make sense? So a weighted overlay. This is also available inside Web App Builder. Now, in addition to the widgets, we've also added enhancements. Obviously, the team works very hard, listens to feedback, and we augment or improve the user experience of existing widgets. They've also added one new capability under the Attribute tab. You saw me demo that earlier when I added a custom logo and a hyperlink. Well, you can also reference additional data sources. And additionally, in ArcGIS Online back in March, they added the ability to have shared themes. What does that mean? Well, if you activate this in ArcGIS Online, you could do something like, I want to make all my banners green. Every time I go in my ArcGIS Online organization, I will always see a green banner, right? That consistent user experience. Well, the Web AppBuilder team has enabled partial support for those shared themes. Okay. Let's take a look at the Infographic widget along with the new theme.
Thank you, Derek. So Derek showed a different kind of thing, right? In this release, we have this called dashboard theme. Before other themes, you remember if you use Web AppBuilder, you have to click to open each widget, or by default, you can automatically open one widget. But this dashboard theme basically allows you to open all the widgets show up here. So by default, they have 3 layouts. You can define your own layouts as well. For example, let's add one widget first, then we can change the layout. You see, when hover is highlights here, basically tell me which widget I'm going to configure on the panel. Also, you go down here, you see you can also add widgets on the map as well. This one is on-screen widget. Derek mentioned you can turn them on and off. This is attribute table. You can turn it on if you want. And this is header if you want to branding your app with logo and the name. But for the dashboard, most of them just turn it off. Now I'm adding a infographic widget. This, you notice we have a chart widget as well here, right? What's the difference? Infographic is modern, new style, and very fast display compared to chart. It contains all the styles charting has. So we will strongly recommend to use this infographic instead of chart widget if you do charting. Okay, open infographic. You see 8 templates, pie, column, bar, line, that's all included in chart widget. A new 4 styles, number, gauge, vertical and horizontal gauge. Let's put pie chart first. I choose the states layer in my map. Here, I have 3 sections, right? This is title, I could give a name, population. So you can change the font, color, whatever you want. And description, I don't want to have it. You can turn it off. Here is you can turn on or off those sections. This is the charting part, right? So I choose state name, population, 2000. Go to the display. You can change the color here. You can turn on the legend or not, a data label. And you can adjust heights of here. Okay. So they show up here, right? The nice part is if I zoom in around the map, it basically redraw the charts. Is that cool? Yes. If I hover over each pie, the feature will get highlighted here. California, Arizona, right? Wyoming. It's really cool, right? Another part is you can turn on the legend as well if you want to, or you can enlarge it in this way to see it better. But it's too small, right? So okay, let's just make change for this layout. I want to make this bigger. And I want to add one more here. Click OK. See, you can control the layout of this theme. Other things you basically do not have control, but this theme you can add whatever many widgets you want, make them open simultaneously. Another one interesting part I think a lot of people like is Select Widget. Why I add one here? Because it works nicely with charting. For example, I click here and say using cycle to select things here. So everything selected will be responsive by the chart. It's cool, right? And here you do the select, you have all the other options to create layer, do statistics. If you configure the select widget to allow to export selected features, you can do that as well. So that you can select features to CSV, GeoJSON, feature collection. This is the charting library. We use the new library to reflect everything changed on the map. Another thing is that, okay, if I don't like use the layer from my map, because sometimes I have a backend, I have my own data, I don't show them on the map, but you want to see the charts, you can add them from here, we call actual data source. You can add everything from here. So add already in the or city. If you open this one, you see your data source, just like any REST URL. Let me show this one better. You can actual data source from your map, from online content or portal content, from your REST ArcGIS server URL. You can choose whatever you want. So I already add one here. Now I go back to my widget. Here, instead of using map, I'm using actual data source. So here I'm using city name. Click OK. It didn't display here. But you get idea. So you can add everything should be drawn from here. Maybe the service is not there yet. Just give you example. Yep, it's here. It's bad. They too much data. How you can redefine your data? How do I do that? The same. Go to attribute or city, right? Because there's so many data rendering take time. That's why this does not display. So as I confine my data, name, filter, I can do the filter, right? And I can do the service limit. I have my own custom. I go to 1,000 or 500, whatever you want, and you can do order by, group by, everything you can control here. So if the data is too much, you can control from that setting page as well. Thank you.
Awesome. Very exciting. Okay, how many of you are using ArcGIS Enterprise, more specifically Portal for ArcGIS? Okay, so a handful. For those of you who are using Portal for ArcGIS with ArcGIS Enterprise, we have some exciting news. And I don't have as sexy a demo as Jin Shah's, but it is still pretty cool. We want to make a comment on what the team has done to better support ArcGIS Enterprise. So ArcGIS Enterprise 10.5.1 was also released the same week as the ArcGIS Online update. So it does include Web AppBuilder, and now Web AppBuilder inside Portal for ArcGIS 10.5.1 has all the capabilities that Web AppBuilder had in ArcGIS Online in the March update. So they've added 2 new widgets, and they've added many usability enhancements. For more details, click on these blogs. By the way, if you need a copy of the PowerPoint, send me an email and we'll send it to you. You'll also get a proceedings DVD of all of the presentations, like within about a month of the user conference. What the big deal here is we now support custom widgets in Portal for ArcGIS 10.5.1. This is huge, right? You can now enable custom widgets to work within the builder environment of Web AppBuilder that's embedded within Portal, right? And we're going to go through a demo to show you how to do this. In fact, let me just do that now. Or actually, let me show the slide first. So what's the high-level workflow, right? I take the custom widget, I host it on my own web server. Then I register this widget as a new item type in Portal, which I'm going to show you in a minute. I reference that manifest.json file of the widget. And then I share it with my Portal members. So we have a couple of screenshots here, but I think it's important to actually show you what we mean. So I'm in my web browser, and I'm going to switch tabs here, and you can see that I'm actually in Portal for ArcGIS 10.5.1. I've already signed in. Now, before I do that, where do I go to get some custom widgets, Derek? Well, you can go to GeoNet, right? This is our user community. And what I can do is I can click on Communities, and I can search on the communities and filter by Web AppBuilder. And then you'll see we have this one forum called Web AppBuilder Custom Widgets. And if I go here and then click Content, you'll see we have a link underneath this section called Widget Downloads on the left. So if I click on this link, you'll see that members of the user community for Web AppBuilder have contributed between, I think it's like 35 different widgets. There's one gentleman named Robert Scheitlin, super nice guy. He is actually the #1 user on GeoNet because he has like 1 billion points. And he, really writes a lot of custom code for Web AppBuilder. And I would argue that his custom widgets work 99% of the time. Okay? I have joked with him, why do you do this? Why do you work so much? And he jokes with me that his grandkids live far away, so he just codes all the time. So let's hypothetically say I want to grab this elevation profile widget. I click on this, and again, it's a widget made by Robert. He's done a great job of documenting what it does. He's provided some screenshots, and he gives you a zip file to download. Now, in the interest of time, I've already gone ahead and downloaded that zip file. And what I've done is I've placed it in my own web server. So you're looking at Internet Explorer on my machine, and if I go to C, inetpub, www.root, you'll notice I've unzipped this elevation profile widget. I haven't done anything. All I literally did was unzip it and extract it and placed it at this location. So now what I can do is I go back to my portal. Okay, I go to my content, and I'm going to add that custom widget as a new item type to my portal. So I'll simply click Add Item and Application, and I'll choose this application extension option, which is new. Then I simply provide the URL for that widget's manifest file. So I'll type in HTTP, my machine name, so it's dlaw10.esri.com, / the folder, right, elevation profile / manifest.json. Whoops, not that typo there. And right away, it detects the widget, and I could give it a tag. Now, in the interest of time, again, I'm not going to add the item. It takes a few minutes, but I've already gone ahead and added it. So I'll hit Cancel. You'll notice here I have elevation profile widget, and I can view my item details. Gave it a custom thumbnail, and I've shared it within my portal so my portal members can access it. Now, just to show you that it works, I can go back to my content, and I'll create a new app. So this is the other way to access Web AppBuilder, right, using Web AppBuilder. And I'll say a 2D app, and I'll say elevation app. Tags elevation. Hit OK. Opens Web AppBuilder embedded in Portal for ArcGIS. And as you will see, exact same user experience as Web AppBuilder inside ArcGIS Online. And also, as you saw for 3D, so again, team has done a great job. And now what I'm going to do is just a couple of things. I'm going to add 2 widgets. Okay. I'm going to add the base map gallery widget so I can change the base map. And then I'm going to browse and add that custom widget, right? So I'll click widget here. Notice in my widget dialog window, I have a default tab and I have a custom tab. This is inside Web AppBuilder, and I've actually added 2 custom widgets. I'll add the elevation profile. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. I'll add the elevation profile widget, hit OK. I can configure it if I want to, but I'll leave the default, hit OK. Now I'm going to save it. And here I'll change my base map so we can see some elevation here. Let's go with terrain with labels. I'll zoom in. Okay. And I'll turn on my elevation widget. And again, Robert did a phenomenal job to enable this. Hit this tool, click, 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 click again. And now this widget is querying that elevation service that Esri provides. And it works out of the box. And it lives on my app. This is pretty cool. Okay. I know it's not 3D, but it's useful. All right, let's talk a bit about developer edition, right? Now, we think of like 2 personas that use developer edition. And if you're not a developer, you're probably in the first group. You might be a configurator where you take custom widgets and you leverage it in developer edition. Alternatively, if you are a developer and you write custom code in the ArcGIS API for JavaScript, you can create new widgets from scratch, just like our colleague Robert. And we encourage you to go to the customizing and extending session that's available on Thursday at 1:30. Now, as I mentioned, Developer Edition is the second option to work with Web AppBuilder. It's a separate download. So you go to developers.arcgis.com, you go to App Builders, you go to Web AppBuilder, and you pull the code down. You download it, and you install Developer Edition on your own machine. Look at the 4th bullet. Same user experience as Web AppBuilder that you've seen already today, both in online and portal for ArcGIS, with one landing page exception. That's it. So it's great. If you're already familiar with Web AppBuilder, you can use Web AppBuilder Developer Edition. Now, when you first install it and set it up, you want to make sure that it can connect to your portal, either your ArcGIS online organization or portal for ArcGIS instance, and you have to specify an app ID. And with that, we're going to show you a demo on how to do that.
So you download from developer site, right? Then unzip the folder. You will get this Web AppBuilder for ArcGIS folder here. You go to inside. You will see startup.bat. If you're using Windows platform, double click it. It will automatically bring out this. You might be interminated, but don't worry. Then it will automatically bring out this browser. So basically, first, as you specify your organization URL, we are using here. Next, app ID. So basically, why we need app ID? Basically, Web AppBuilder needs to know what kind of web map layer resources we are connecting to. So how can I get app ID? This is critical for the developer edition. That's why we want to demo it very quickly here. So in the content, I log in my organization, go to the item in application. Is web mapping application? Yes. I leave everything by default there. The URL, I'm going to use developer site here. So Blender 2 is my computer's name. Builder sounds great. The title. Next, add an item. It's already available.
You added it in the previous session, that's probably why.
Yeah. So here is my item, details page. Overview, I see. So this is the folder, is the tag name. The most important thing, I need to go to Settings. Go down here, App Registration. Click Register. Browser type, fine. This one I want to add here, HTTP. But you also need to add HTTPS. Why? Because sometimes you forget what kind of protocol you're using. So it's safe to add both at the same time. Now, under app registration, we have this app ID. Copy it, go to Developer Edition here, add in. Now they know every resources I'm using from this organization. Fortunately, you only need to do this kind of thing once for one organization. But if you want to add portal into Developer Edition, you need to register app ID in your portal as well. But for each organization, only once register. Next time when you open Developer Edition on your computer, everything just set up nicely for you. So now I say, why I need to use Developer Edition? Maybe sometimes you get your things done in online or portal, 70% things done, but you want to add one more piece, customization piece there. You're not a developer. So what do you want to do? How can you do it? So you go to the import from my account. This is for my ArcGIS Online account. You maybe import one app. You see demo here, then go to import in. Open it. Oh, go back. This is the 3D. Let's open 2D. See here, right? So this is scenes I'm working on in the Developer Edition. Then you can add custom widget. So go back to the Robert here. Robert has a lot of widgets. I would like to see this enhanced widget bookmark here. A look at site. Here, Vancouver. It's nicely, right? It's not out-of-box widget. It's Robert's widget. You like it? Now you can go to widget folder. No, I forgot one thing. You like it? You basically download it. Download link here. Then go back here, download. So I already have it downloaded and unzip it. Then you unzip it, then you copy e-bookmark here into the directory of Developer Edition. Remember here, we go to the client side, STEM app, 2D, 3D. So this is for 2D. We go to STEM app 2D folder. You will find a widgets folder. All the out-of-box widgets are listed here. Then you copy paste your e-bookmark we download from Roberts. Sometimes when you unzip file, they have two folders, eMark folder, eMark folder. Remember, just one level of eMark folders. Otherwise, two eMark folders will not work, so be careful. That's the trick sometimes. eMark folder, you copy everything from here. Then go to here, you refresh. Add e-bookmark here. You will find in this dialog, they will show up here. The same, then you can do the configuration. Do you want to catch any different name? You want to catch the bookmark? No, it's here, I think. Victoria, I like, this is better. You configure everything, add them in. Then you click here. This is the bookmark, bring them into developer edition. So you're not developer, you configure, but you also can add custom widgets into the full developer edition. Then next step, what you should do is go back here saying, okay, I created an app with custom widgets. I want to host it. How can I do that? You download app. Then after you download, it's a zip file. So here, you go to the folder. Then you unzip. You see demos here. You unzipped this directory and copy the whole folder into your IIS server, in my case, your local server. I copy everything already here, go to my PC. I netpop, double root, you see demo. This is the app. I just download, unzip, and copy paste to here. Then if it's done, I go to my computer saying, you see your app with custom widgets will be show up here. So the workflow is, if you're not developer, you can grab someone else's custom widgets, put them into the widgets folder in your developer edition directory, then create app, download the app, unzip it, put them in your local server, or you put them in your Amazon server. Then app is running. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, we have about 5 or 6 more slides, so I know we're getting tight on time. Great demo. So, Jin Shah showed a lot of different things. We actually have 2 ArcWatch kind of tipped articles, if you will, to kind of guide you through the process of using Developer Edition. Number 1, going over steps on how to enable the app ID, and number 2, how to add a custom widget in Developer Edition. So you can just Google ArcWatch and then type in Web AppBuilder and you'll be able to find them, or click on the links from this PowerPoint deck. Where do I find those custom widgets, right? We showed you on GeoNet. You go to the Web AppBuilder Custom Widgets forum, click on the content link. The ones from Robert are phenomenal. They work 99% of the time. The other ones, I can't speak to that. And I'm not criticizing those users who contributed. I just don't know. I haven't tested them all, right? So use at your own discretion. Now, some of the Esri solutions teams have also enabled some custom widgets. So these are ones that are currently in development or still being used or haven't been comprehensively tested, but you may want to look here as well. There's a whole bunch that the imagery team have enabled to work with image services, and also the solutions team. Okay? You can also use Web AppBuilder to enable a configuration and then save it and export it as a template. This is pretty powerful. Remember how I said earlier we had those predefined templates? Well, you can make your own Web AppBuilder configuration and then add that as a template option. We have a blog on this, but let me just show you really quickly how do I get to it. So here I am, and let me go back to the one in online, because this is the one that most people use. Notice in the lower right-hand corner of my configuration panel, I have this option here, Export as Templates. I can click on this, and then I control which properties of my app do I want people to be able to configure as a template. And in the interest of time, I'm not going to demo it, but know that it's there. And again, we do have a blog that talks about and shows you how to do this. Okay.
Is that a template for everybody or just within your organization?
You would have a template for people within your organization. Okay. Yeah. The question was, if I make a template, would it be available for everyone? It would be available for people who are in your organization, who are level 2 users, right? If they're level 1, they cannot create new content. If they're level 2, they can create new content. So hopefully, after this hour, we've convinced you that Web App Builder is the Swiss Army knife of the app building user experience, right? You can use it for a variety of different options. Many folks at Esri, on our solutions team, our customers, and our business partners have used it. As I mentioned earlier, we are approaching 250,000 apps in ArcGIS Online built on Web App Builder. If you have an app built on Web App Builder, please, and it's public facing, let me know so we can reference it in our live sites group. A few more slides on the community and resources, right? What makes Web App Builder successful is that we have a very active user community. There are 3 different forums on GeoNet. They're all very active. The Web App Builder and the Custom Widgets forum always show up in the top 10 most active. You know, because Robert's on there 24/7. He's got 1 billion points. Love the gentleman, so he is great. There's also another contributor. Her name is Rebecca. And she maintains this awesome developer resource page for people who use Developer Edition with code samples, new widgets, announcements. I actually email her and Robert directly after we have some new functional updates. So they are up to speed on all of our enhancements. We work together with our user community. Quick slide on Road Ahead. Jinsha, you want to talk to this?
Okay, cool. So for development team, we are thinking about road ahead. Next is Developer Edition. Lots of people asking that we have all the cool functionalities, dashboard, theme, infographic widget, extra data source. Those things are available online. But when they're going to be available for Developer Edition, the answer is next week. We will release Developer Edition 2.5 around the week of 17th. So you will get all the new functionalities. For the portal, unfortunately, we'll have to be waiting for 10.6 to get all the new things in. But 10.5.1 already have support for custom widgets, right?
Yep.
So you can go there as well. Another big thing is the appbuilder.arcgis.com. That's the new evolution for Web App Builder. We want to have a better support for app management and creation. It's a new lifecycle management. We also want to support custom widgets in online. That has a lot of security to tackle, so we are working on that. We don't have timeline for that custom widget support yet online, but that's our direction as well. Next thing is we are open downloading custom widgets in Marketplace. The business partner create a lot of custom widgets they want to share and sell with the community. We are working with Marketplace team to try to get those things on. Hopefully at the end of this year. So as I demo, you can download custom widgets and put them into Developer Edition or put them into Portal 10.5.1 and up to using them as well. Thank you.
Okay. So where do we go from here? Well, there are other technical sessions. Sorry, the one on Tuesday I should have crossed out. The second one, that's already passed. But there's a customizing and extending session, which is tomorrow. Jin Shah's got another 3D web apps demo theater also tomorrow. And tomorrow at 1:30, we have our little user group meeting. So, and I just realized there's a scheduling conflict there. That's not cool. So if you aren't going to go to the customizing session, come to our user group meeting. First time we've had it, we're going to see how it works. And we have an awesome user story where, again, they're using Web App Builder to help the blind. If you have questions, please come see us at the ArcGIS Online Island in the Expo Hall. More resources for Web AppBuilder. Again, we have online help documentation for both Web AppBuilder and also for Developer Edition. There's a free live training seminar, and there's also a course you can take. Okay? So, we talked about Web AppBuilder. We all know what it is now. Very, very cool. We talked about the enhancements that were recently available. Oh, I need to update this slide. That says June. Must have been a typo. I was thinking. We talked about customization and Developer Edition. Thank you guys very much. Please fill out the evaluation and enjoy the rest of your conference. We'll take questions now. Okay? Does the screening widget support photo attachments? I am not sure.
If you put them into the pop-up, if pop-up can support an attachment in the map viewer, then app should be able to support them.
You have to configure it in your web page.
Yeah. So everything you need to configure in the map pop-up, especially pop-up, we carry over every symbology and the pop-up into the app.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi.
If you're using the portal to build web apps, do you have to use the developer?
The question is, if you're using Portal developer app, do you have to use Developer Edition? No. Portal has the same as online embedded version. So, yeah. You can go
I've not seen the advantages or what the advantages
Developer
of developer is.
Developer Edition is for the developers to test their custom widget, create a custom widget to test in that environment for them to test it. Yeah, coding, yeah. Another thing, Developer Edition advantage is online doesn't support Portal. Online doesn't support custom widget, right? If you want to, your organization only have an online organization, you want to have some custom widget, what are you going to do? So Portal right now, 10.5.1 is up, have everything packaged there. But if your Portal only have 10.4, your organization say, I'm not going to upgrade. So what's the option? Developer Edition also is there. Okay.